Today is April 1st, 2020, and right now the world is in the middle of a pandemic crisis, hysteria, fear, uncertainty, economic turmoil. There's just a lot going on. So during this apocalyptic wonder that has become 2020, I am sitting in my house in lockdown. Not because I'm sick, but because we're being quarantined to try to stop this virus from spreading. So it's a fascinating time, and I think a lot of us are trying to find some answers as to what's going on. And so obviously, one of the places we're going to look is the news, and I have some probably mixed feelings towards the media. I think journalists are essential to a free society. Freedom of the press is desperately needed in order to get the information to the regular peasants, such as me. But about 10 years ago, I kind of unplugged from mainstream media. Not to say I went into a mountain cabin and hid away. I just stopped watching the all-day news programs. I kind of realized that 90% of my media comes from the same 6 companies, and that is a lot of power. You can control the information that is put out there or control how things are worded. I'm a pretty proficient writer myself, and so I know that even just how you word little things or word titles of articles totally can change the way people will perceive it or how they'll take it in and regurgitate it to other people. A lot of people believe if you take the time to write something down, it must be true. And so there is great power in the pen. So anyway, like I said, 10 years ago, I kind of unplugged from it all. It was stressful. I didn't like the constant drama and sensationalization of things. I just kind of wanted the facts and the stories. I started to read a lot of books. I listened to some select podcasts. I'd watch some documentaries, that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to be more purposeful in what I was intaking into my mind. And when this virus struck earlier, I found myself back on the mainstream media sites trying to get some answers as to what was going on. And I discovered that there was more interest in getting the story out fast than getting it out accurately. And so trying to figure out exactly what all this is has been really frustrating for me. And if you're a Republican, you like Fox News. And if you are a Democrat, you like CNN. But the majority of Americans, we are not Republicans or Democrats. We're kind of in the middle, and we would just like, the news. Not all this bickering that's going on between senators and presidents and world leaders, all that stuff. While some of that is interesting, I don't like it when it eclipses the actual issues of what is going on. And the truth about media is you can have the most integrity in the world, but when you write a story, there is still a little bias in there, even if you're trying to not put it in there, even in the stories you choose to write about. And the most, I'm going to say, honorable people in journalism will admit that. They know that's true. So you always need to take what people are saying with a grain of salt. Also, I would recommend not watching the all-day news channels. They need to sensationalize their stories because they have to sell ads, and in order for advertisers to pay for a docket on their channel, they need to have viewers. So they do this all the time. I mean, it can be something that has nothing to do with you, and they will just pitch it all day long. And pretty soon you're feeling anxious and afraid. And so you're watching this more and more and more. Or the story is super sensationalized and it's gross, or some horrible killer was captured, and they run it like a Lifetime movie. I mean, everyone just eats this stuff up. So I just am asking people to be a little bit more purposeful in what they're taking in. I did find a blog that was interesting. It talked about some of the news sources that are kind of have a history of being a little bit more unbiased. And the thing is rather than going and getting your news at a place where they're going to say everything you agree with, maybe be a little okay with not having to agree with everything they put out. But in the manner that it's put out, it is not there to elicit a certain emotion from you. It's there to report facts and not to smear anybody, and just reporting the facts. So I'll put a link to a blog I found where they talk about the best that you can find news sources. And you're not going to agree with all of them. You're going to say, well, that's a liberal magazine or something. But they do have a history of being more factual than some of those anchors that just spend all their time yelling and screaming at each other. So the ones on this website I found: the Associated Press, Wall Street Journal, Reuters, BBC, C-SPAN, yes, the Financial Times, the Bureau of Investigative Journalism, Science Christian Monitor, surprising one, Pew Research, and The Economist. And I actually did get online and look at The Economist last night. I didn't read the articles because I'm a mom and I'm busy, but I did read the titles. And again, there wasn't a ton of I didn't feel like I was reading a movie title for some, B movie on reality TV or something awful like that, something that makes you feel dirty. So look around, let's take a breath, let's try to find some actual research, and let's hold our media accountable. Stop watching those all-day news channels. They are awful. And like I said, they're all controlled by the same 6 corporations. So you're only getting, a few different opinions. And just don't let your children watch those channels. They are awful. And I just can't emphasize that enough. So anyway, like I said, I'll put a link to the blog that I found, but do your own research. Find maybe articles that don't agree with your opinion. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay if not everyone agrees with us. And just focus on the facts, and don't let somebody manipulate you by how they write certain things and just entrench you in a feeling that you're trying to find to feel anyway. And I guess that's all I really have to say. Thank you guys. Post any comments if you want. I'm open for debate. If you're rude, I probably won't reply, but that's okay. Bye.